I just wanted to show you guys some of the mindset that I had way back when. Black Lives Matter. While some activists totally missed the mark, I'm glad I acknowledged that even then. And mind you, this was 2019. Okay, so I was on this long before George Floyd. So while some activists totally missed the mark, the majority of BLM supporters are not saying other lives do not matter. I would say about a year later, that was not the case. I would say in 2019, a lot of the people who were supporting BLM were, at the time, decently sane. 2020 is when a lot of the BLM people became insane. Drawing the line of cultural appropriation versus appreciation. I am really interested to see what examples I had for what on this, because I have not reflected on this. Fun fact, when the first PragerU video I ever watched was a Will Witt video about cultural appropriation. And I want to say that was in 2018. So my mind got shifted a little bit on this topic compared to before I saw the Will Witt video. So let's see the examples I put on here. Red, appropriation, so dark. So I said some of the red flags: failure to acknowledge the origin of the culture representing, tarnishing the sacredness of the cultural concept or practice, taking ideas and practices without showing that you understand or respect said culture. Fair. That's fair. Do I think it's the end of the world? No, but fair. Let's keep going. Appreciation. Paying homage to the culture's history, being knowledgeable of its origins and what it took to develop its glory, maintain a sense of self-awareness, avoid stereotyping. Okay, I don't disagree with any of this. I think there are examples of cultural appropriation that are just cringe. I don't think it's a big deal. I feel like culture is so blended nowadays that it's like, who cares? It's like I literally go around wearing a Chinese hat, but that's appreciation because I'm also 2% Chinese. So it's like, I don't think it's a big deal anymore, or a big deal at all. But yeah, I kind of ate that. Thanks, Will Witt, for that video. What's next? White privilege. Oh, this is the one that's going to get uglier than Ken Barbie. Okay, if you don't know who Ken Barbie is, consider yourself lucky. That's a very ugly person. Ken Barbie is very unfortunate looking, as stated by Nicki Minaj. So, Adam, you are so shady with those bombs. Okay, let's go through these examples of white privilege. Living your life without constant stereotyping. White people are constantly stereotyped. So I was already on some BS there. I don't know what made me think that white people don't deal with stereotypes. There are so many stereotypes that are good and bad that all demographics deal with, but the amount of stereotypes that white people get, I don't know how in my mind I was so blind to thinking that they didn't have to deal with stereotypes. Being considered more reliable and trustworthy without showing any of your character. I don't know where I got that information from. You know, I will say that as a black person, like if I'm wearing like sweats, there's a higher chance of me being like racially profiled at like a Nordstrom's or something, which happened recently. But I kind of can't blame them because who's out there stealing? When you see these videos, not saying only black people steal, obviously, but when you see these videos of these crimes and stuff, and like in LA, Nordstrom is always getting robbed, Bloomingdale's and these department stores are always getting robbed, it tends to be black people. I'm sorry. When I will literally zoom in past their gloves and I'm like, dang it, it's once again my color. So no, it's not okay to be like thinking that black people are not trustworthy the second you see them, but I get it. Not being pulled over for driving while black. Ask your black friend what that is. Ironically, I haven't been pulled over in years, and anytime I get pulled over, cops love me. They really do. I do know that there are like some bored police departments that'll say like if it's an area that is predominantly white, I have been told by police officers literally that they'll pull over if they're really desperate for their quotas. They'll pull over someone that just looks urban, that doesn't even have to be black, just looks urban. So I think that applies to white people too, because white people can look a little rough around the edges. No shade. Not PSA. If you don't understand what white privilege is, not me having typos in 2019, the ghetto. If you don't understand what white privilege is, congratulations, you're living in it. White people, I am so sorry for the way I wronged y'all. I am so sorry. That is so cringe. If you don't know what it is, congratulations, you're living in it. Shut up. Bruh. I wish I could just tell myself to just shut up. What I really thought I ate that too. Some of these I did eat, but I really thought I ate that. You're living in white privilege, so you don't know what it is. Or maybe I'm just delusional, and maybe white people aren't spending their entire lives feeling guilty because they were born in a certain skin tone. You know, shout out to white people. Do not date a person of color before having an understanding of the issues we deal with. Thank you next. And that Ariana Grande thank you next era. You know, I mean, there's some truth to this, but at the same time, it's like when you love somebody, are you really about to spend all of your time trying to think of what racial things that they're going to deal with? I feel like that is just, again, being fake deep. I mean, yeah, you should learn the culture. You should learn the good and the bad of what the culture you're marrying or dating into deals with. But I think that can definitely go both ways. But I don't think that's too crazy. But I just think it's cringe more than anything that I really thought I ate when that thank you next on there. Okay, last one we're going to go through today because I can only cringe on my old self so much. Non-black 2 cents for black issues. And I go into how if you are not black, you are not allowed to be a part of the conversation. But how ironic is that after spending all this time over the course of that month telling people like, oh, well, white people, you don't deal with this and you do get to deal with these benefits and you do have these privileges. Why was I putting my black 2 cents in white folk business? I was all up in white folks' business. Okay, so the hypocrisy there. This is the old me. I've come a long way. So if this proves anything, it proves that I, one, have come a long way. Two, I wasn't totally crazy, but I was definitely just way too woke for my own good. And three, for the people who try to say that I'm just grifting and that I have always had this mindset, I either have always had a conservative mindset or that I never had a liberal mindset, or however other angles y'all want to spin it right back onto your own self.